Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
If you're one of those people that sometimes get up and you're just kind of lethargic and, I have to go to work and I have to do my day, I want you to look at it from a different perspective. Somebody who has enjoyed doing just that for many, many decades. She is approaching 92 years old and still working at Xavier University in Ohio. And she's part of our Education Hall of Fame. And she says, I love talking with her. Dr. Roseanne Fleming, sister, is with us. Welcome back. How are you?
Well, thank you so much, Steve. I'm fine. Thank you.
How many years have you been doing what you're doing? I know it was like 50 something or more.
Well, you mean here at Xavier?
Here at Xavier and in total.
Well, I've been here at Xavier for 42 years. Prior to that, I was at Trinity College, and that's now called Trinity University in Washington, D.C. I was there for about 8 years. And prior to that, I was at Summit Country Day School, where I became head of the school and had that administrative position for 7 years. And then I taught Latin all 4 years of Latin from 1960 to 67. Prior to that, I started teaching for the Sisters of Notre Dame in 1954 in September, and at Mount Notre Dame, which was at that time called Mount Notre Dame Academy. And I was there until 1960 when I went to Summit. So that's kind of my work history. Before that, I went to college at Mount St. Joseph. For 4 years, I boarded there. And prior to that, I was at Summit Country Day School myself for 13 years.
Unbelievable. So I've been doing what I've been doing in the broadcast world since I was 17, and I'm old. When you look back, does it for you, and I'm based on my feeling, it doesn't seem like it's all those years. It just doesn't. Maybe half or 2/3 of that entire time of your life working and all of that. Well, how does it feel for you?
I think probably like you're stating it. You wonder where the time has gone. You're conscious that you were in these various places and you were trying to meet people's needs in those with those various opportunities, but it went fast. And
Right?
looking back, and it's still going fast. I can't believe we're going to be at February 1st tomorrow. so
No.
so the months go fast within the years, and people tell me that as you get older, it goes faster. So
Do you believe that?
from my experience, yes. On a day-to-day basis, no, an hour still has 60 minutes in it. But I think you become pretty efficient at handling time, for one thing, and you get the most out of the time you have as you get older.
Well, I need to have a conversation with you after we get off the air because I'm still. I will say this, and it's only been in the recent, I'm going to say, few months that I've tapped the brakes a little bit. I'm always been moving. And I used to look at not moving and doing things as a negative. But now I reverse the mindset and look at it more as a positive because I'm giving my body an opportunity to rest, recharge, think of things, have more clarity. Even just laying in bed on a weekend, hey, that's okay. Previously, always going. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that's really very important, and you have to consider how much recharging you really need. And our bodies are very efficient, but we need to take care of them, not break them down from overwork. And that's very important as you get enough exercise, enough relaxation to come back and be totally recharged for the next day.
Wow. So I want to look at your day and somebody that's been doing what you've been doing. I can't even figure out the math. You gave the numbers, upwards of 60 years, I would
Yes,
say, easily.
right. Close to 70.
Thank you. math was not one of my stronger subjects. So let's look at your typical day. What time do you wake up? I'm fascinated. I really am. And it's not that you've been, working 90 years. I'm sorry, not at 92 coming on, but it's more of your energy and passion is still like for me, I detect at the top of the scale here. So what's your day like starting when you wake up, and how does it go? What's the flow?
Well, I have my alarm set if I need it, but I usually am awake a few minutes before my alarm goes off at 4 o'clock, 4 a.m. And I do that purposely because as a religious, I have a commitment to make sure that I spend enough time in prayer. So I would say the first hour and a half of my day, the 4 to 5:30 at least, is in prayer. Break it down between the rosary, meditation, morning prayer, and then I have a half hour for breakfast. Then I take a shower and get dressed and get over here by 6 o'clock usually.
Wow.
And I like that because between 6 and 8, I can get things done that I have to do. For example, I teach class several times a week, and I need quiet to be assured of quiet to prepare. I don't like to ever walk into a classroom and not know where we're going. It's not fair to the students. They're paying us a good price for their education, and they deserve our best. So I spend like 6 to 8:30 making sure that I'm able to get all the points across I need to get across, plan their tests, correct their papers, and do that kind of thing. And then uh, if it's depending upon the day of the week it is, I take another half hour out to go to mass, either at 8:30 in the morning if I'm not teaching it Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then Tuesday, Thursday, I go to mass at 5 o'clock on campus. I mean, it's within 2 minutes of my office to walk over to the chapel. So it's not a big deal, but it's important to me to do that.
Hmm.
That's the beginning of my day. And then during the day, the doors open all day long here in my office. Students come in, try to do what I can to help them either with their essays or whatever else, whatever help they need. I attend certain meetings because I'm involved in some things, one of which is the athletic department. I serve as special assistant to athletics. So I attend certain meetings. They're mostly in person now. It used to be for a long time, it seems, by Zoom. Even on campus, we would not have in-person meetings, but now it's mostly in person. And then I'm in trying to serve as special assistant to enrollment management. There's a section that we have called success coaches who take care of a lot of different needs of students, particularly psychological needs, trying to meet social, economic, financial needs, whatever needs they have, in addition to any help they need for succeeding in their academics. And that's a fairly new group here on campus, and it's expanding all the time. Universities are different today. Students have a lot of needs that we do take care of today that we didn't back in the 50s and 60s and 70s.
Let's address that for just a moment. When you say needs, is it also by and large emotional needs in that kind of situation? Yeah.
I mean, I think, and I can't account for the origin of all these needs with people, but I think a lot of it is that times have changed. Just the amount of money that a student needs to go to college today is absolutely urgent in their minds, and most of them know, they've decided with their families how much they are responsible for. So the family can take care of a certain amount. But beyond that, students have to earn money during the year as well as during the summer. I can remember days where students worked during the summer because they just wanted some cash in their pockets and they didn't want to bother their parents if they were in college and pay for the gas in the car or something. But now it's a more total thing. It's uh, a package that they have to earn in addition to going to class. So, and getting some work done based on that class. So yeah, the needs are very different, and we try to help them all we can to meet those needs.
Wow. Tell me about the class. And by the way, before we even get into that, the needs, the emotional side of things, I believe the students already, they always had those, but now we're more open to discussing what's going on mentally and challenges somebody might have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right, Steve. It used to be like a really secret thing.
Right.
You needed some help figuring out how to deal with a problem. Now, fortunately, students feel more able to talk about that, and we want to help because they
Yeah.
can't learn if they're all tied up in an emotional crisis.
Sure. Sure. I mean, even for adults, if you went back even 20 years and said, yeah, I'm going to be busy later, I'll be talking to my therapist, there might be a little awkward silence for a moment. There's, somebody might look at you, but now it's like a friend. Yeah, I'm going to go talk to my
Well,
therapist.
it's recognition that this is a healthy person
Hey,
trying to be
100%,
healthy. Yeah.
100%. All right. So the class that you teach, tell us about that.
The class I teach is called Sport at the Service of Humanity. I took that title. Well, in my class, I say, comma, or is it? So that I make them think,
Hmm.
is it really? Is that what sport really is? I took the first part of the title, Sport at the Service of Humanity, from the Vatican, held a conference in 2016. And I didn't know about it until later, but they did hold this conference. They call it the first conference uh, of faith and sport. And the purpose of it was to evaluate by getting 400 people together that were picked out scientifically, we might say, 200 that served in the various churches throughout the world, and 200 that served in sport, from commissioners, owners of teams, great famous players, and so forth. And this conference was held in Rome, hosted by the Pope, actually, Saint Pope Francis,
Wow.
and they declared 6 principles that were, if sport were to be used with faith throughout the world, these 6 principles were acceptable to people of all faiths. And they felt that for sport to be a saving factor to the populations throughout the world, these principles had to be evident. One was compassion for people with injuries and so forth. Another one was respect for coaches, respect for other players, respect for our competition. The third one was love, bonding with your team. They're having your back and so forth. And recognizing that the excellence of the competition. The fourth one was called enlightenment. And enlightenment stood for knowing that winning wasn't everything, that there's so much more that comes with sport than just winnings. Competition, one side or the other is going to win, but you don't lose everything when you don't get the win. You have to remember all the good you get out of sport, the body training, the nutrition, the constant care, health, and your companionship with the team, your oneness with somebody outside yourself, trying to do something that's greater than any of us together, and using your talents, your God-given talents. Not everybody is using it at the same level of excellence, but your God-given talents are things that most of us that have been involved in sports one way or the other value. And so the fifth principle was balance. Do things in
Hmm.
a way that are reasonable. Use reason as your guide. Don't, try to know that you can learn from your failures. You can come back. And the last one is joy. And that, I think, for people of all ages and all times, and you can go back into history and look at it. It's a question of real sport ends with joy in the exhilaration we got from it. And sometimes when students are worn out, we know we've gone too far. That's if this becomes a job, if this becomes something that's exhausting, if this becomes something that upsets me, then we have to look and see what's going on, because they should be ending up with a feeling of I've done it. I've used my talents in a way that's made me relax, made me totally feel that I'm in the zone,
Mm.
and I'm using my best. So that's kind of the emphasis within. We take a look at a lot of different people, but we look at it with the lenses of the six disciplines. Is this really something that's going to make the world a better place? Is this something that's going to like save humanity?
I want to go back to what you said, and it's like the thing that all parents tell their kids, in that it's not who wins, it's how you play the game.
Absolutely. You can learn
Yeah,
from your failures if you look at it in the right way. How much more did I need to do? Was
right.
it concentration? Sometimes when you see a ball drop, you think, where's their mind? They're in the middle of the floor,
Right.
middle of the field. Yeah.
Well, that brings me to what you led right into what I was thinking, in that, do you feel that everything we do in life is designed as a lesson? We're here to learn. That's why we were placed on this planet. We're here to learn and help others. Do you feel that?
Yes. Yes. I think it's got two sides. And just picking up on what you said, yeah, I think we're here to serve God and others. Let's put it that way. Uh, in doing that, I think we need to reflect on our experience in serving others. Is it really service? Is it really what they need? Can we do more? And that kind of
Mm,
thing.
mm.
Uh, and and I think we need to be very sensitive to the fact that we listen to what they need. It's not just doing something that we think should be done to others or for others, but meeting a need that the other person has. I think that's very important.
In the last number of years, go by this one thing, and it's just do the right thing.
Yeah.
However, not the right thing by just you,
Mhm.
it's for the greatest good of
Right.
all.
Right. That's
So,
true.
yeah, it's a delicate blend, because sometimes we immediately think that, all right, well, that's the right thing. That's the way it should be. But maybe that's just for you. It doesn't affect
Yeah,
the other person. So you have to look at it through their eyes.
sure.
Uh, got a few minutes left. I'm going to go a little deep here. You start your morning with prayer. What happens? A lot of people struggle with this. They'll say, I want to pray. I'm not really sure if I'm doing it right. What do I say? What should I be thinking? I, you know, I don't think there's a wrong way to pray, but what's it like for you? I know there's a blend between the rosary, meditation. Take us through that. Just want to look at that.
Well, I think there's a difference between formal prayer and meditation. Um,
I don't know the difference. I know what they are, but I don't know the difference between the two.
well, in formal prayer, you're saying something by rote, the Father, our Father, the Hail
Okay.
Mary, the
Okay.
Glory be.
Like the rosary. Right.
Right. And I mean, essentially, we've been trained to think of what we call various mysteries of the rosary while we're saying that, so that just saying rote doesn't get, it gives us an opportunity, if you're reflecting on a mystery, to be in the presence of God and to think about his coming to this earth and what he's done for us, and be grateful for it, and be encouraged by his resurrection and so forth, that we too, following him, will have an eternal life. So there are ways in which saying the rosary will enable you to also have a kind of a transcendent experience. What I do next is say the morning prayer from the breviary, which is prayer for the whole church throughout the world. People that are in our church and maybe many other churches have a set prayer that helps us remember the needs of all people for God in their lives, to help them see the right thing to do and to choose to do that right thing for His glory. And that prayer varies from time to time in the year with the movement of the liturgy, but at least it's a way that I see of having the needs of the world in my prayer rather than just my own.
Right.
And then the meditation basically is the easiest of all. It's really a conversation with God. And as long as you understand how much He loves us, and I don't know that we can ever fully understand that, but have an awareness of it, have a conversation with Him for 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I try to do at least 30 minutes a day, and ask Him to help you with problems that you're having, how to solve them, how to react to them. How would Christ have handled this? And sometimes it's like you come out of meditation thinking, do I really have to do that? And in your heart you do. I mean, if you want to serve Christ, you want to be Christ to others, you do. And it's strengthening for the day. And it gives you a goal that probably wouldn't happen spontaneously in our busy world if you didn't take the time to think about it.
Thank you for that. I'm going to ask one final question. Just a yes or no answer. We all get challenged. Life is a challenge. It's beautiful. It can be a challenge. In your entire life, was there a moment, maybe even a fleeting moment, whatever it might have been, was there ever a moment where you doubted God? You wondered about the existence of?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, I came from a family that was really oriented towards raising children to know God. And that's why I think it happens to a person like me early in life. I have not had that experience yet.
I like how you said yet. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that you're open. So far it's been good.
Well,
but you're a realist. You're a realist in saying that you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You have faith. It's all good. But yeah, you never know. You never know. I always say, never say never, because you don't know how it's going to go, whatever it might be. Roseanne, always great talking with you. It's fascinating. Your legacy, what you do for the students there. It goes without saying, but I'm going to say it. You care, you love them. You love what you do and God and all of that. And proud to say that you are PhD Professional of the Year. Thank you so much for being here again.
Well, thank you so much, Steve. I've enjoyed our meetings. Thanks.
You too. Yeah, be well. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.